everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here on DarkAvengerINCPlus, where today I'm doing a comic review of Invincible number 100. Digital, of course. Alright, pretty much this issue takes place the very last second the last issue ended, with which we saw Thrag, the leader of the Viltrumites, watching over Nolan and Debbie, Mark, aka Invincible's parents, settling into their new moon-based home when suddenly Thrag attacks them. Well, specifically Nolan. He attacks them, he breaks into the moon base, but fortunately Nolan's able to get Debbie into an emergency airlock so she's safe. But Nolan fights pretty much the first half of the issue. Nolan fights Thrag and until they stop, and Thrag reveals that apparently he goes into like the history of the Viltrumite leadership of the planet, about how it's been governed. Originally they were ruled by like a series of by a royal bloodline until one day their king was killed and they didn't know who the heirs were. So they didn't know so they had like a whole trial by combat in order to figure out who would be the next leader, and Thrag won, and thus he became the new leader of the Viltrumites. But recently, however, from when Mark was in a coma, when the Viltrumites were also helping to heal Mark, and when they tested Mark's DNA, Thrag later found out through some further testing that he did by himself that Mark is actually a descendant of the original Viltrumite king. So this means that the new leader of the Viltrumites by the bloodline is Nolan. And the reason Thrag is hacking him this issue is because he doesn't want this information to get out. So if he kills Nolan, he'll still remain leader of the Viltrumites. However, Nolan won't let that happen. He shows up, he fights him, and then suddenly all the other Viltrumites show up and they reveal that they heard everything, and they find out that he's, fighting the real heir to the throne, and thus the other Viltrumites team up and defeat Thrag, and so that Nolan can be the new king. And so then we cut to a few moments later on the Viltrumite ship on the moon, where we have Nolan speaking to the Viltrumites and how he's taking charge and stuff. And he tells them that now that he's in charge, things are going to be different. We're not going to be focusing on conquest anymore. We're going to be focusing on expansion by breeding and stuff. And of course, Mark is also there watching his dad give the speech to the Viltrumites, and he's like, "This is so weird." And then we cut back to the Grayson home, and Mark tells Eve everything, and they have a conversation about how his life has been really strange ever since he found out about the real truth behind the Viltrumites way back at the beginning of Invincible, and he's talking to her about it, and he realizes that she's been like the one consistent good thing in his life, and Mark proposes to Eve. That's how the issue ends. Oh, and also Eve made the ring herself with her power, so that was kind of sweet. Also, I've been sort of skimming the issue on my iPad to give you this information. Okay, well, Invincible 102, very nice issue. Really liked it. Nice, really great reveal how Nolan is actually the real heir to the leader of the Viltrumites. Now he's in charge. So maybe with Nolan in charge, the Viltrumites won't be, like he said, won't be world conquering evil guys anymore, and they'll just, focus, and they won't be like the huge dictators who go out the galaxy trying to threaten planets into submitting to their order, or else they'll destroy the planet. No, that's going to change. Hopefully it sticks. All the other Viltrumites, they seem to be fine with it. But, who knows? Maybe we'll get a rebellion in there somewhere. Also, the ending with Mark and Eve was very sweet. I loved it. I've been reading Invincible since I started with the very beginning of Invincible. I watched their whole relationship since the very beginning, and it's nice. It's very nice about what's happening with Mark and Eve. I mean, first they're having a kid together, and now they're engaged. That's sweet. And I really think that's really great for this series. I mean, after 100, things are definitely changing. That's really all I can say right now. So, you know, right now for Invincible, if you are a fan of this comic but you stopped for whatever reason, I would say go back, get 98, pretty much start at issue 98, read through the whole Everyone Dies story arc, and then come on board with, then get to 102, and, you know, you'll be pretty much caught up by now. Though really, you don't really need to read one, though really we're still kind of dealing with the aftermath of 100. But, you know, this so far, everything seems to be going great. I mean, things are changing, what with Mark and Eve, and everything, and now Nolan. Can't wait for next issue. I really love Invincible. This is definitely my favorite independent comic. I would highly recommend people give this a shot. Even going back to the very beginning, because I'd say if you really want to get into this series, go back to the very beginning and read it from, say, Volume 1, either of the trade paperback, or actually I think they have like these ultimate hardcover editions, which are like really thick. So get Volume 1 of those to really speed up the process. Yeah, but back to the main issue I'm reviewing, 102. Another home run issue. Can't wait to see what else Robert Kirkman has in store for this comic. I really do love Invincible. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to Dark Avenger Inc. Plus. If you like this video, then please subscribe. There's a ton of other reviewers on this channel who are probably better than me. So, yeah, check them out. Check out some other videos and subscribe if you like it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.